Hi there, greetings from Las Vegas. This is Phil Simborg, and had an interesting day yesterday. We had some time to kill, and I got together with some friends and fellow backgammon enthusiasts, including Falafel and Jim Pasko, two very, very great players and great guys. And we were joined by Arcady, another great player, good friend, and two or three other people that played with us and that I will not name for personal reasons that they may not be uh, interested in having their name broadcast that they were playing with us, as they were students and of the game as well as friends of ours. But I decided that it would be more fun than having a chouette to play uh, teams with non-consulting doubles. So Falafel and one of my students uh, played against Jim Pasco and I. And the student, by the way, is a pretty good player. He's not. Uh, he was no weak player at all. He's a pretty decent player. So it was a good match. And we played non-consulting doubles, which is the way I think doubles should be played, where each player takes turns with the move without consulting with his partner, so that everybody's in the game, so that Falafel isn't making every move for the other side, and Jim Pasco isn't making every move on our side, because Jim is clearly the better player between him and me. So the other player and I get to make our moves, and Arcady was watching and involved in playing as well, and we had other spectators, and we often made bets on the plays. We did a lot of betting because it's fun, not large amounts of money usually, but a couple of them are pretty significant, and we put it into XG right away and learned from it. I keep my computer handy, and I guess we took at least 20, 30 pictures, 20 to 30 pictures, but I've narrowed it down to the how many plays that I've narrowed it down to? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. The eight most interesting ones, I think, that we had bets on and that we had differences of agreement on. So I think they were fairly challenging. So why don't you see how you can do? You can pause this video, and if you're watching this video on Facebook or YouTube and it's um, very small, in the lower right-hand corner, you can click on a little box to make it bigger. And let's see how you do on these uh, eight positions. So first of all, Falafel had a 3-1 to play here, and I'm not going to name names about who won or lost bets and who got things wrong. Falafel got this right, so I have no problem mentioning it. Uh, Blue is holding a 2 cube, and um, Blue has a 3-1 to play. How would you play it? Again, you can pause the video, take your time, and then come back and get the answer. I apologize for my cold, by the way. I think it's more of allergies, but nothing wrong with being in the sun in Vegas. We played outdoors and it was beautiful. Okay, so the right play is not to lift, first of all. You need this point. And since red is on the bar, it's a very good time to get these back checkers moving. And Falafel made the correct play, which is correct by a lot, to move up and make this with the 1, which is another interesting play. You could have left these spread out as well. He just didn't want to leave that many blots because they're holding the cube and they could get gammoned a lot by leaving it spread. But not lifting and making this play is clearly correct. And by the way, we danced. He made the right play, and we didn't come in. So what do you think is the cube action here? Well, there is no cube action here. There shouldn't be any cube action here. Blue's still got a lot of work to do. Might not even cover. This would be a beaver. It wasn't recubed, by the way. They correctly played on and ended up winning the game. But this would have been a very bad cube. But that still makes the play right to get moving while you can. So give yourself a point if you got it right, and you can say, hey, I'm just as good as Falafel, whose game, by the way, is very sharp. I was certainly impressed with him and Pasco and everybody there. And I'm a little proud of myself. I even won a couple bets too. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is a one that was bet and debated. blue to play 4-2. Cube is in the center. Okay, what happened here is my student had the play to make, and he thought long and hard about making his own 4-point, which really is the wrong thinking here. And after he made his play, I explained using a dictum or a rule of thumb that I got from Joe Sylvester that I think is a great hint, called offense, offense, defense, defense. And what Joe taught me when he was living with me for a while is that he taught me many things, and he certainly is one of the most brilliant minds in the game, I think, ever. His idea of offense, offense, defense, defense is simple. If you're in an offensive position and you have a choice, tend to make an offensive play. And if you're in a defensive position, tend to make a defensive play. Well, clearly blue is on the defense here. Blue's losing the race and is split, and red's got a nice advanced anchor, and blue needs to make a defensive play. So the play really has to be on red's side of the board. Now the question is, what do you do? Do you make the 20-point or do you make the 22-point and start the 4-point? Well, my student made the 22-point and started the 4-point, and I immediately explained to him why I thought the 20-point was better. But one of the participants, one of the other players or spectators, by the way, felt that the making the 22-point and sliding the 4 had real merit. And of course I offered to bet on the play, and because I felt so sure of the play, he wanted odds, and I actually gave him 5-1 odds and won the bet. It is right to make the 20-point, and it's not close. And one of the things, and by the way, one of the other very good players scared me by saying that he thought that I could be wrong, that it might have been right to make the 22-point. And I explained, of course, the importance of making this is the golden point, making this point, especially with this point made here, to block this point. And by the way, we happened to roll a 6-3 on the next roll, which would have made the 5-point if he hadn't made the 5-point. But you're in the game forever with making the 5-point, and you're not going to get doubled for a long time, and it's just a much stronger position than holding the 3-point. One argument for holding the 3-point is you're behind in the race and it's more contact, but I don't think it is necessarily more contact when you've got these checkers here. And of course that begs the question, what would you do if these two checkers were here? Which Jim Pasko pointed out, he felt it would still be right to make the 5-point, but it would be closer. And again, as Jim was right, but still not much of a debate. It's really right to make the golden point when you can, make your own 5-point when you can. Those are two pretty big, strong rules of thumb. Okay, give yourself a point if you made the 5-point. Let's go to the next play. Red to play 4-3. Here again, Falafel had the play, made it right, and was questioned, and I'm not sure there was a bet on this one. How would you play 4-3? Well, the 3's a no-brainer. You cover. The real question is, where's the 4? Okay, Falafel correctly made this play. Coming up is not a good idea when you're way down in the race. You make it easier for your opponent to bring the race home. Unstacking is a major theme in extreme gammon and in backgammon. And with these 5 checkers here, it was clearly better to unstack than to stack it up further. Let me just show you the evaluation. And the second best play would be to stack even more. The third best play would be coming up from the back. And so this is a pretty good lesson. Most of the time when you have a big stack, there's a strong reason to unstack. And again, being down in the race, coming up here does give you a runner, and it is tempting, and several of us thought that might be right, including me. I wasn't sure, but I tended to go with Falafel's play, and give yourself a point if you got this right. Next play, another 4-3 to play. Blue to play 4-3 this time. Blue's holding the 2 cube. By the way, we were blitzing, and of course blue rolled double five the roll before to ruin our fun. Also hit us on a slotted 5 point. Blue eventually, well, I won't tell you what happened eventually. So, how do you play your 4-3? The first question, of course, is do you hit or not? The second question is if you hit, how do you hit? Do you pick and pass, hit and continue, or bring two down? Or do you not hit at all and do something else? Okay, our opponents hit, which is the wrong play. And if you do hit, it's right to pick and pass and hit and continue. You can't um, look at these. Even the second best play is a pretty big blunder of not hitting. And hitting, if you do hit, is pick and pass and not bringing two down, which is a super blunder. Now, again, if you're not familiar with XG, it's better to highlight and at least hit the plus plus button. The ideal thing would be to stop and do a rollout and get the numbers really more accurately, but we don't take that kind of time, and we pretty much trust XG plus plus to give us the right numbers in most situations. There's lots of situations, of course, complicated back games and priming games and so on, where you might be better off rolling them out. But we're pretty confident with XG that this is the right play not to hit, and all of their plays are pretty much of a blunder. And of course, again, Falafel and Jim Pasko both believed it was right to run. I wasn't sure. I have to admit I wasn't totally sure about this play. Okay, next one. 6-4. Oh, I showed the answer. I forgot to erase the answer on this. You now know it's right to run off the back. But the interesting thing about this play is, and I won't name names again, but one of the really top players and a couple of spectators would have played 20-10, given up the 5 point. And frankly, this play didn't occur to me. The play that I liked, which was really bad, is coming off with both of these checkers. That just gives them way too many shots. So that's a really big blunder. But one thing I do know is you don't want to play a 1-5 back game. The 1-5 back game, it stinks. It's a lousy game. You should try and find a way to get out of it. And this is the most natural way to get out of it. The other reason, getting hit out here with a 5 and a 2 is less shots than with a 6, 1, and a 9. Even though this gives you more return shots, the problem is you help him make this point by getting hit here. So the right play is to run. Sorry I didn't stop the evaluation on this one, but I'm not going to redo this video. I've got too much invested in it already. Okay, the last checker play problem, and then we have a couple cue problems. 6-5 for red to play. And I'm very proud that I got this right, and my partner wasn't sure, and neither was anybody else. And then after I heard their arguments, I wasn't sure either. Everybody agreed on the 6. This is the 6. And the question is, do you volunteer with blue on the bar? Do you continue and volunteer and give him a 5-2 and a 5-4? Or do you not volunteer and bring the checker in and give him nothing? However, you have a tougher position to bring home, and you're not getting a double shot at this other checker. Which play is better? Let me put it back, and you can look at the 2 5s now and decide which play you would make. These are tough. I don't know a good. I mean, you're weighing the risks and rewards of the leaving the 4 shots and certainly having a much better game if you don't get hit versus giving him those 4 shots. If somebody's got a formula for this, I'd love to see it. Okay, I made the right play. I did not leave the 4 shots. It turned out very badly because they came in with a 5 and we didn't get this checker home and lost the game. But it's the right play not to leave him the 4 shots. Let's hit the evaluation. And It's about 6%. It's not quite a blunder. A blunder is defined as 8% according to XG. Actually comes out to about 5% with XGR++. So these are tough. Again, I wasn't sure, and the people who felt that you should leave the shot, they weren't sure either, but they were willing to bet on it. And I don't think we had a bet on this. Um, okay, now we have a couple of cube actions. There were a lot more than 2 cubes, believe me, but these are the 2 I found more interesting that were hotly debated. And that's this cube before the roll. Hey, this is right before the 6-5 roll. And as you know, we doubled and they took. I guess I should have shown this one first. We doubled to 4 and they took. Do you think it was right to double to 4, or do you think it was right to take? So you know Falafel thought this was a take. I guess that should influence you into taking. And you know Jim Pasko and I felt it was a double, so you can question the double. Okay, the proper cube action was a take, and I really wasn't sure that this was a take. But there's plenty of work to be done, and Blue's got enough game to take, and with that 5-point anchor, uh, we came up with, we had 20 good numbers, 6s out and 1s that hit. And we got the 6 and still lost the game, which is hindsight, but it's a good sizable take here. It would be almost a blunder to pass this cube. So congratulations to Falafel and his partner, who ended up winning the game. Last one, cube action. Red on roll. Should red double? If red double, should blue take or pass? Okay. Again, pause it if you need more time. But we were red, Pasko and I, and we doubled. And we smiled when they took, and we rolled an immediate 6-3 and hit 2. And we were pretty happy about it until we saw that we were wrong to double here. It's not even and Falafel said, I don't think this is a double. Grab the cube. Well, he was right away. Now, if we were playing weaker players and we could get a drop 11% of the time, the double might be right. But against a player like Falafel, it clearly was a wrong double. We thought we could lose our market by getting a hit and a dance, or we thought there were a lot of market losers here. By the way, you can get a pretty good idea of whether or not you have market losers. We knew it was a take, but you can go to Analyze, Dice Distribution, and you can see that our 6-3 was our second best roll, and a double 3. And we had some other pretty good rolls. We look like we had some good rolls that give us that might be market losers. 3-2, 4-3, 5-3 might be market losers in addition to the 6-3 and 3-3 if they don't perform on their next roll. So we'd rolled a double shot 6-3, and they still had a reasonable game. I think we ended up losing this game too. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed this. I also did something else while I was there. We had some time to kill earlier, and I had the pleasure of having lunch with Paul McGrill, X22, and Falafel and some other people. And I showed Paul and Falafel how to play a game I invented called Challenge Gammon, where you challenge each other in each play. So I moderated and ran the XG and had Falafel and McGrill play each other, a 5-point match. They didn't get through with the 5-point match because we got interrupted by some other things that we were doing that afternoon. But it was really fun. It was close. I will tell you that Falafel beat McGrill by 1 point. It was close. We had some very good and interesting plays, and even one play that they both missed that I got right. So I was very pleased with that. But it was really terrific. I wish I had taped it, and you could hear the thinking and the explanation of Paul and Falafel, two of the greatest minds in the game, and two people I respect very highly. I felt very honored to have that time with them. About an hour and a half we spent together talking about not just the challenge gamut, but just talking about how the game has changed and how our teaching and thinking has changed. And it was a very, very enlightening day. We were at the Bellagio Hotel in Vegas, a beautiful setting outside most of the day, and just a great trip. And I'm looking forward to some more action with those same people today. So maybe I'll have another video for you later. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know some people prefer PowerPoints. Other people prefer to hear my beautiful, beautiful voice and explanations and discussion of what happened. So can't please everybody, but I hope you liked this and hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye. Oh, let me put in a plug for the Backgammon Learning Center. This is a part of what we do to encourage people to come and take lessons from us. We've got 15 instructors, including Mochi, Michi, Steve Sachs, Perry Stick, John O'Hagan, Dennis Culpepper, David Presser, just a lot of great teachers on our team. And we have people teaching beginners, specializing in beginners, Bill Kelton and Ben Friesen, and my son, Dan Simborg. And we have people who speak Hebrew, Japanese, Turkish, French, all these different languages. Come see us. The BackgammonLearningCenter.com, and we'll work out some lessons for you and help you lose money to people like Falafel and Jim Pasko, like I often do. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.